As I mentioned, my name is Chris Gillis. I am the Manager of Applied Research Business Development at Durham College, and I am one of the members of the Durham Region Technology Development site. So I'd like to welcome you here for this webinar presentation on the OVIN programs, the Ontario Vehicle Innovation Network, and some of the new programs at the Technology Pilot Zone. So I'm going to welcome you on behalf of each of those organizations. And today's agenda, I'll do a little bit of an overview, a short one of the Durham RTDS, and then I'm going to hand over to my OCI colleague, John George. He's going to just give a review of the different OVIN, or Ontario Vehicle Innovation Network programs, and the various project funding that is available and assistance there. And then he is going to have Corey Schenken, who is the manager for the pilot zone, kind of talk about that new program, as well as we'll do a Q&A at the end. So also just at the beginning too, I wanted to remind people that the Durham RTDS and the Hamilton RTDS are doing their annual collaborative event called the Future of Transportation Mobility Services. That is on November 7th. It's got a stellar panel lineup and a lot of great speakers. So you can find that either by Googling CITM, Center for Integrated Transportation and Mobility in Hamilton, as well as you can find it on the Durham site. So anyway, let me just start with this. And one of the things I want to tell you about the Durham Regional Technology Development site is we're one of the sites in the OVIN network, and we see the whole electric, connected, and automated changes that are happening now as really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Specifically, as an RTDS, we are focused on really how will the EVs and the new forms of mobility change Main Street. In other words, really, what's the impact on communities, and how will communities best take advantage of these new technologies as they roll forward? So who is the Durham RTDS? Well, at the core partners, we have the Spark Center, which is our Regional Innovation Center in Durham. We have our two academic institutions, Ontario TechU and Durham College, and we have the Regional Municipality of Durham as the core partners. We also have private sector industry partners. We have a list here of some of them, not all here, but notably Camion, which is a battery company, Caveras, which is robotics, and we have Siemens, which of course is providing software. And these organizations help provide platforms and assistance to small and medium-sized organizations to help develop and commercialize their technology. So in this space, what specifically do we do and are we doing? Typically, I think when people think of electric vehicles, their mind kind of goes to one of two places. One, we kind of think of all this wonderful potential in terms of, transit electrification, the whole enhanced mobility, better use of mobility infrastructure, et cetera, and all the benefits to that. And then we can also flip to the sort of realized benefits. We think of improved quality of life, community attractiveness, and economic benefits. And that's great, except there is this sort of little gulf in between here, which is really what we are focused on. And really what we see is critical to this are really informed changes to help municipalities, regulators, to help purchasing, procurement, and other providers of services really understand what is involved in using these technologies. Specifically, you think of electrification of transit and municipal vehicles. You think of the safe and accessible aspect of this transportation, and just the plethora of smart and connected mobility infrastructure. We see charging, and of course we're seeing scooters, e-bikes, all manner of other things out there, along with the whole electric vehicles, connected, automated, and all of this. And what we're focused on is helping small and medium-sized enterprises who are developing technology to address these challenges move forward and commercialize. And so that's kind of our focus in this whole big, wide ecosystem. We have a number of programs that are used to actually do this. We have a challenge-based program that we've been doing with the Durham region municipalities, and that's a municipal-based one. We are moving towards doing a private sector one, so with some of our partners and other larger organizations who are playing in this space to look at what the needs are there and to attract small and medium-sized enterprises who are developing technologies in this space. We put on and host a number of events to actually allow people to come together, network, connect. And then we are able to do some level of demonstration. But of course, what we're looking to do here is help develop the technology so they can then move forward into the other OVIN demonstration zones and the pilot zones for that portion of it. As an RTDS, we provide a number of services to small and medium-sized enterprises, certainly through Spark, a lot of the business advisory services to help commercialize. Through both the academic institutions, we provide technical support for developing projects. Specifically, Ontario Tech has the ACE, an amazing world-class center with test beds and a climatically controlled wind tunnel that is about, I think, the second largest or largest in the world. So really world-class test facilities there. And Durham College looks to help develop AI, cybersecurity, and mixed augmented and virtual reality technologies for these SMEs. And then we can utilize our partner platform. So if you're a larger company who is interested in supporting SMEs in all of this and working with us, we'd love to hear from you. So ways to connect with us is just you could Google Durham RTDS at this URL, or you can, I guess, email us at info@the Durham RTDS, and we'd be happy to talk with you. So that's it for me on the RTDS. I'm going to hand things over now to my colleague at OCI, John George, who's going to talk about the OVIN programs and give you an overview on that. So, John, if you're ready with your presentation, it's all yours.
Thank you, Chris. Can you guys see my screen and hear me clear?
We can.
Perfect. First of all, thank you, Chris, and thank you everyone for, sorry, I think I'm not, yeah, just making sure that you guys can see my screen. So thank you so much for everyone. Thank you so much everyone for making the time to be here. I know it's 1 p.m. in the afternoon, so you probably had to be here just after lunch. So thank you so much for that. I'll introduce myself. My name is John George, and I'm one of the sector managers for the OVIN programs at OCI. In my capacity, I support the automotive and mobility ecosystem in the province of Ontario. And in my capacity as a sector manager, I go across the province, connect with stakeholders and build relationships and connect them with the OVIN offerings that we have. I'm also joined by Corey Shankin, who is the regional innovation lead for the TPZ program, which from whom you'll be hearing from shortly after me. I'll be presenting for the first 10 minutes of this next little bit, talking about OVIN and talking about the OVIN programs that we have, and then Corey will come and talk to you about the TPZ program, which is one of our newer programs that is a great offering for companies that are looking to pilot and demonstrate projects across Ontario. So without wasting much time, I'll jump into my presentation. The first thing I want to talk to you guys about is, for those of you who don't know about OVIN, OVIN stands for the Ontario Vehicle Innovation Network. And what we are a Province of Ontario initiative that focuses on the automotive and mobility ecosystem in the province of Ontario. And now you might ask, why is there focus on automotive mobility in the province of Ontario? And that's because of this following reasons, right? Ontario has always been a key player in the automotive manufacturing ecosystem in the world. And because of the fact that we have over 100 years of experience at a leading automotive manufacturing and supply jurisdiction. We are also the second largest vehicle assembler in North America, and we are second only to our cousins south of the border. We have the 5 main OEMs situated in the province of Ontario. We have GM, Ford, Stellantis, Honda, and Toyota. in the province of Ontario. We have over 700 supplier companies and 500 tool and die mold makers in the province of Ontario. So companies like key tier one OEMs like Linamar, Martin Rea, and Magna are situated in Ontario. And in addition to that, we have over 400 SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises working in the CAV and EV sector that are innovating in this space. And in addition to that, we have 12 universities and 24 colleges in the province of Ontario that is churning out world-class talent to support this ecosystem. So all in all, we've had historically all the expertise that is required to be an automotive manufacturing jurisdiction. Now, this is a map of Ontario, and this is a map that I like showing to people who ask me, what's so special about Ontario from an automotive, automotive perspective. So if you see in this map, and if you see at where my cursor is, from Windsor to Durham, this oval, this red oval, is where the traditional manufacturing experience of Ontario, automotive manufacturing, lies in Ontario. So from Windsor to Durham, with the GM plant in Durham, and within Windsor, the Stellantis plant, between all of this oval lies all our manufacturing supply expertise. So Linamar, Martin Rea, they all fall within this oval. From Waterloo to Ottawa is our ICT cluster, and we have the second largest ICT cluster in North America, and we are second only to Silicon Valley in the US. And we have close to 35,000 ICT firms in this window, right? And as you can see over here in Northern Ontario, this oval covers the critical mineral opportunity. So if you remember, back in 2017 when OVIN was started, so before OVIN came into being, we were known as AVIN, the Autonomous Vehicle Innovation Network. So we were born out of the automotive autonomous hype that was going back in 2017. But as you can see, over the years, a switch has flipped, and EVs are now the hype across the world, right? And when Ontario looked at itself, Ontario had all the necessary elements to be a major player in the upcoming revolution with respect to EVs, and also the necessary innovations, necessary capabilities to be a key player in the ICT cluster too. So what OVIN is doing is OVIN is bringing all these elements under one umbrella, being an aggregator of these technologies, and making sure that Ontario stays on the forefront of these upcoming revolution in automotive mobility, which is the collaboration between the CAV and EV sector. And as you can see, nowadays like automotive vehicles are mostly smartphone on wheels, right? So with all the specific capabilities of Ontario, we have everything to ride that wave that is coming our way. And the next slide is a testament to the work that we've been doing, right? So the world sees what Ontario has with respect to what it can offer to companies across the globe, right? And this is a testament to that. Over the past 24 to 30 months, the province has attracted close to $44 billion in new auto investments. And that includes investments from all the 4 OEMs out of the 5, except Toyota. All the other 4 OEMs have invested to electrify the plant in the province of Ontario. Investments from Umicore to create a cathode PCAM plant. It's on hold, but still it's a worthwhile investment to note. The Nexstar Energy plant happening in Windsor. The new Volkswagen plant happening that is investing $7 billion to create a plant in St. Thomas, Ontario. And the most recent one is the $15 billion, which is now added to the $1.4 billion that they invested previously, making it a total of $16.4 billion from Honda to electrify the plants in Ontario. So the world sees the Ontario as a key player and a key place where the automotive innovation can take place, and they are investing to create such important investments in the province of Ontario. And OVIN, that's where OVIN comes into play. Now, how does OVIN kind of fit into these mechanisms, right? So OVIN is in itself an overarching network. What we do is we connect the automotive and mobility ecosystem in the province of Ontario, and our mandate is mobility. So what is mobility? Mobility is basically movement of people and goods on roadways and railways and making them safer, cleaner, and more efficient. And in mobility, we focus on 4 main technology areas, and they're usually described by the acronym CASE, or sometimes it's known as ACES, right? The C stands for connected vehicles, so technologies that make a vehicle connected. autonomous vehicles technologies like ADAS, HMI, etc., shared mobility solutions, ride sharing, car sharing platforms, Uber-like platforms, first mile, last mile solutions, e-scooters, they all fall under that section. And electrification. Within electrification, the entire value chain, right from the critical mineral opportunity to hybrid, fuel cell EVs, powertrains, and end of life cycle recycling, they all fall within the value chain of electrification. So as you can see, from OVIN's perspective, within mobility, the entire value chain falls within our focus area. Now, we have a variety of ways. So as I told you, OVIN supports the ecosystem by being a connector. In addition to being a connector, we also are a funder. So we fund the ecosystem across the province of Ontario in two ways, at a macro level and at a micro level. At a macro level, we fund sites across the province known as the RTDS sites. So Durham RTDS that Chris was talking to about is one of the sites that we funded through the RTDS initiative. So this is funding that is coming from the province that OVIN is using to invest in the province of Ontario. So this is the map that I showed you before, and all these bubbles over here, they all signify independent RTDS sites in the province of Ontario. And there are 8 sites across the province of Ontario. Each of these sites are a local collaboration between the innovation entities there, and they support, their role is to support, provide business and advice services to early stage SMEs. And also they have unique offerings associated with each and every site. I won't go into more detail here because we're running short on time here. So I'll just move into the next slide. Then another one offering here that we have through the one of our macro offerings is the demonstration zone. The OVIN demonstration zone is targeted for SMEs that are TL7 plus, that are looking to demonstrate the technology, that are past commercialization stage, and they're looking to demonstrate technology. So we have a demonstration sign. This is the second iteration of the OVIN demonstration sign site, which is a collaboration between the city of Markham and city of Vaughan. And what they do is they provide access to real world settings where these companies can come in and deploy the technology in a real life setting. Recently, we started the first pilot, which is with a company known as Scooty that is piloting e-scooters in downtown Markham. Now, moving to the OVIN program, these are one of our bread and butter programs. So I told you, OVIN funds the ecosystem at a macro level and a micro level. At a micro level, we have programs that fund SMEs directly. So we have 4 main programs. So to be eligible to these programs, you have to be an Ontario incorporated SME. So you have to be an Ontario SME, and then you have to have a global employee count less than 500 employees to be eligible for these programs. Now, these programs, they are targeted to help you commercialize your technology. So you come at how the premise of these programs work is that there's an SME with a technology that's in this in the CAV, smart mobility or EV space, and we would come in and we would help them commercialize that. So we would need a partner from the market that says that there's demand for the technology that the SME has, and the partner will help them in a partner with the project that is tied to commercialization. And we would come as a third party and we would provide 1/3 of the total project budget. And we have funding that goes from $100K up to $1 million. Within the CAV and Smart Mobility program, we have Stream 1, Stream 2 opportunity, Stream 1 for smaller projects, Stream 2 for bigger projects. The ask can go up to $1 million on those bigger projects. And the project's duration can be up to 24 months. There's a new program that we've started. It's known as the Advanced Charging and Vehicle to Grid program that focuses on the energy aspect of electrification. It's a new program that's just started this year, so a lot more to come on that one, right? So again, the ask on this project can go up to $1 million and for a duration for up to 24 months. The fourth program is talent development. It is aimed at SMEs and MNEs. All the other programs are aimed at just SMEs. This one can be accessed by both SMEs and MNEs, and even by education institutions. So this is aimed at helping these companies hire students, graduates, postdoc students, and PhD grads, right? And our support can go up to 30K to 35K for projects from 12 months up to 24 months. And this slide is basically the dates for the round 2. So our Stream 2s are only open twice every year. So we have specific rounds for the bigger ask rounds, and these are the dates for those rounds. And the talent development and Stream 1s are rolling intake, which means that there's no deadline. So if you have a project, we can go ahead and talk about that at any point, right? And last but not least, I'd like to talk about an OVIN success story. This is a company that we funded through the OVIN R&D Partnership Fund. The company is called Acerta. The company is based out of Kitchener-Waterloo region, and what they do is they develop preventive maintenance solutions for machines. So they partnered with Nissan, and they developed a preventive maintenance solution that would basically go into Nissan vehicles and provide information on the status of their engines and the powertrain, and to see if they need to go back, if they need to go for a maintenance checkup, or they need to do predictive maintenance, right? So that's the technology that they've developed. And Nissan really got impressed with this technology, and they're going to incorporate this technology in their vehicles from calendar year 2025 and beyond. So this is one of the examples of a project that we've funded through the OVIN R&D Partnership Fund. And last but not least, it's a summary slide from the OVIN on the OVIN metrics, right? We have been active for over 7 years. From 2017, we have supported over 550 companies over our life, created over 4,600 jobs, and we have generated close to $500 million in follow-on investments for the companies that we have supported through the OVIN program. And this is just an information. This is for your information that OCI has an yearly event known as Discovery X. The next event is happening in April 16th and 17th. It's an innovation showcase for the Ontario ecosystem. So if you're an Ontario incorporated company, regardless of whatever sector you are, Discovery X is a great opportunity for you to come in and see what's happening in the ecosystem and to stay in touch with the innovation across the province. I will now hand it over to Corey to talk about the technology pilot zones.
Thanks, John. Much appreciated. Just let me share my screen here. Pick up where you left off. Everything looks good. Everyone can hear me?
Yeah, Corey, go for it.
Okay. Yeah, so as John mentioned, one of our newer programs at OVIN is our Technology Pilot Zone program. I have been on the team now for about 5 months, and I was brought in to help oversee the program. So today I have a presentation that's pretty detailed analysis of what the program entails, including funding availability and eligibility for SMEs who are interested in the program. So to start, this program is unique to OVIN. Most of our programs are funded by the Government of Ontario, but the OVIN Technology Pilot Zone program is funded by FedDev Ontario and is managed through OCI. So this means the federal government provides funds for the Technology Pilot Zones program. The program provides SMEs with world-class testing environments in Toronto, Windsor, and Sarnia to pilot cutting-edge automotive and mobility solutions. Something that's unique to the TPZ program that hasn't been done before at OVIN. Most of our funding programs in the past, or all of our funding programs in the past, were limited to funding on-road solutions. But TPZ ventures a little bit out of this path in that we are also accepting drone technologies, and if something was eligible or applicable, something on waterways as well. The project is focused on responding to the evolving needs of the automotive and mobility sector and is aligned with the federal government goal of achieving net zero emissions by 2050. We are looking for commercial ready or commercially available technologies for this pilot program between TRL or technology readiness levels of 7 to 9. So this means something that's ready to be commercialized or has already been commercialized and is in the market currently. And there's up to $100,000 in support available, and I'll get into the details of how that funding works in a later slide. So to be eligible for the program, you must be a small or medium-sized enterprise with fewer than 500 global full-time employees. If you have global locations outside of Ontario, at least half of your organization needs to be located in Ontario. So say you have 400 employees, 201 of them need to be located in Ontario, and you need to have a location, a physical location, and operations inside of Ontario. For all of our programs through OVIN, or except the TPC is unique in another form in that most of our programs in OVIN require you just to have operations in Ontario. But since we are funded by FedDev, which is a Southern Ontario federal organization, we only have eligibility for Southern Ontario locations. So if you imagine Ottawa on a map of Ontario and you draw sort of a straight line across to the west, anything below that line, including Ottawa, you can pretty much include in the eligibility. But anything north of that is unfortunately ineligible for this program. The first one of our partnerships is with the City of Toronto, and this technology pilot zone operates across several sites in the city and will focus on addressing urban mobility challenges in Canada's largest metropolitan area, such as road congestion, dated infrastructure, rapid urbanization, accessibility, and more. This partnership is actually with the municipality of Toronto. And like I said, it will operate across several sites. So those could be intersections or different areas of the city that's yet to be seen. Technologies and solutions that can be piloted at the sites include, but are not limited to, intelligent transportation systems, such as new traffic cameras and sensor technologies that utilize AI or 5G wireless networks to achieve the following goals. And we're really looking to achieve the improvement and acceleration of traffic management strategies, the reduction of travel times, improvement of road safety, and to enhance transit priority. In round one, there are 2 rounds of intakes for the TPC program, which I'll get into more details later. But in round one, the scope of technologies that Toronto was looking to pilot was quite narrow. And I know the language here says are not limited to, but they were limited to that in round one, ITS or intelligent transportation systems, specifically those that are able to track and collect data on the movement of all classes of vehicles, micromobility, such as scooters, bicycles, and other things similar, and pedestrians. The movement of all 3 of those inside of, approaching, and moving away from intersections in the city. And the data that is to be collected will inform traffic signal systems in the city. And they're really just looking to improve or reduce congestion and improve road efficiencies in the city. We're hoping for round 2 that the scope for Toronto broadens and that they open it up to more types of technologies. But for now, in round 1 at least, that's the specific type of technology that they're looking to pilot in the Toronto site. Our other 2 sites are unique in that they are international cross-border transportation pilot zones in Windsor and in Point Edward or Sarnia. And these sites focus on solutions to facilitate the safe and efficient flow of people and goods across borders. So these zones, and we have agreements with the Windsor-Detroit Tunnel in Windsor and the Blue Water Bridge in Sarnia. So these agreements aren't with the municipalities like they are with Toronto, but they're actually with the entity, the private entity of the Windsor-Detroit Tunnel and the Blue Water Bridge in Sarnia. We also have agreements with the Detroit side of the tunnel, and we are in the process of arranging an agreement with the Michigan side of the Blue Water Bridge so that we are able to pilot technologies across borders or across international borders at each of these sites. So technologies and solutions that can be piloted at these sites, the technology in terms of scope is much more broad and widened than our site in Toronto. So they include, but are not limited to, commercial drones, electronic filing of credentials and reporting, automated authentication of vehicles, cargo, and personnel, dangerous goods tracking, readily accessible current and predictive travel conditions information, coordination and dissemination of real-time traveler information, and increasing the efficiency of international crossings and other tolled facilities. So like I said, the scope is really broad here. We are looking at some drone technologies that provide preventative maintenance, and those types of services. We are looking at traffic traffic tracking technologies to sort of predict and deliver real wait times at each of these sites. So we have a wide array of technologies that are going to be piloted at these two sites. And once those are approved through round one, they will be announced, I think, publicly. So you'll be able to get a better picture of the technologies that we are piloting here. But just keep in mind the scope is broad. If it has to do with mobility, if it's a drone, if it's a waterway, or if it's an on-road technology, we're more than likely able to pilot it in one of these, excuse me, one of these two sites, if the end goal is increasing the efficiency and the movement of people and goods across international borders. Sort of a laundry list of benefits of the TPZ program and the opportunity to operate in these real world environments. We are offering demonstration, piloting, and deployment of Ontario made technologies and solutions in these real world environments. We're sort of promoting marketable solutions for ZEV, CAV, and new mobility focused technologies. At OVIN, one of our principles is that we provide access to strategic partnership opportunities for collaborative piloting activities. So, for example, if you were to require a partner to operate at one of these sites, we would do our best to use our network of connections to facilitate that partnership. I'll explain in a different slide that partnerships or official partnerships are not required for TPZ, which they are for the majority of our other OVIN funding programs. But this is something that we do have a wide network and are able to support companies with. So an example of this could be if you need to attach a technology to something that's traveling through the Windsor-Detroit Tunnel, there's a Windsor-Detroit Tunnel bus, which is operated by the City of Windsor and Transit Windsor. We'd likely be able to set up a connection with them so they could be brought on as a project partner. We also offer support for small and medium-sized enterprises or SMEs in commercializing emerging mobility technologies. So that's really, excuse me, one of the main end goals of this program is companies and their applications will have to show us how these products will be effectively commercialized and made marketable after deployment of the technology through this program. We also lead the adoption of advanced automotive and smart mobility solutions through OVIN. We are advancing cleaner and more efficient mobility technologies. We look to improve urban and cross-border transportation efficiency and safety. We are also looking to enhance Canada's economy through job creation in the growing automotive and mobility sector. This is also something that is part of the application process. We ask companies to sort of predict these economic benefits that they will create as a result of this program. And we also are in line, as I mentioned before, with Canada's transition to net zero emissions by 2050. So I mentioned on the first slide of an overview of the program that there's up to $100,000 available for the program, and this is more details, this slide, on how that funding works. So through an OVIN contribution, we will reimburse 1/2 of total project eligible costs up to $100,000. So in order to get that matching requirement, 1/2 of total eligible project costs, the contribution match must be in the form of private sector contributions and be unencumbered from other government grant sources. So we are able to cover private sector contributions, which include salaries, travel expenses, capital expenses related specifically to the program or the project. And you are not allowed to stack sort of other government grant sources in this project as part of your budget. We don't allow that as part of our project funding. So some examples, and I will be as transparent as possible, we are looking to prioritize projects that use the full $100,000 of funding, but I have provided 3 different scenarios here just to give a clearer picture of how the funding works. So scenario one has total eligible project cost of $150,000. So our contribution would be $75,000, and the private sector contribution would be $75,000. In scenario two, you are maxing out your contribution with a budget of $200,000. And in that case, of course, we would be providing $100,000, and the private sector contribution would be $100,000. We do allow projects to go over our $200,000 budget cap. There's no cap on the budget, is what I mean to say. There's just a cap on our funding. So scenario three outlines a situation like this, which total eligible project cost would be $400,000. Our maximum contribution would still cap out at 100, and the private sector contribution would require then to be $300,000. The funding recipient, OVIN funds flow only to the applicant company or the SME. So if you're bringing on a partner that is helping you financially, we would require a letter of support, but funds would only flow to the main applicant, and you'd be, for example, responsible to disperse the funds to your project partner if they want to be repaid. The funds are reimbursed on a reporting basis. So typically this is done quarterly throughout the project, and the reporting just allows us to track if milestones and objectives that are outlined in the application are actually being met, and then we reimburse up to $100,000 of the project cost or the costs that were included in those reports. For partnership, I mentioned that there's no requirement to be eligible for this program to bring on a partner. So you don't need to identify an external partner for TPC funding. The primary partner will be the municipality, and this needs to be updated, the municipality in which the SME applicant is demonstrating their technology. So the primary partner will be the site, it should say, in which the SME applicant is demonstrating their technology. The site in the Toronto case is the municipality of Toronto or the city of Toronto. The site in Sarnia or Windsor are specifically, as I mentioned before, the Blue Water Bridge and the Windsor-Detroit Tunnel. We still do welcome SMEs to bring on partners if there's interest, and partners could be other small to medium enterprises, national or multinational companies or enterprises, and other not-for-profit organizations, maybe educational institutions. There's a wide array of not-for-profits that can partner up for one of these projects. And an example of a partner could be if you're using another SME's technology in your pilot program, or you're using some of their capital, they would just have to be listed as a partner or listed in your budget as providing those resources. For partners providing matching contributions, they become co-signatories to the funding agreement. So for intake dates, what do these look like? Round one, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, it's what our timelines are, is closed now for applications. So I believe we had about 21 companies submit applications for round one. The application date for round one started in May, and the deadline was September 15th of this year. We do an internal and an external review process, so companies are only notified about the final decision if they are approved or not approved for funding in October of this year. And the actual piloting and deployment for round one occurs from December 2024 to December 2025. Within that 1 year window, we're looking for project durations or pilot durations of anywhere from 6 to 12 months. So if your project is 6 months, you can do it right up front, starting in December 2024, or you could do it starting in June of 2025 and ending in December 2025. We just require 6 to 12 months to be in that 1 year window. Round two is coming up. So we are looking to open applications on November 15th. And the deadline to finish and receive those applications is the 30th of January, 2025. The final evaluation, which is an internal and external review process, like I mentioned, happens in happens from January to March, and companies will be notified in March of the decision whether they are approved or not approved for the program. The piloting and deployment period for round 2 happens between April 2025 and January 2026. And within that 9-month window, it's a little bit shorter for round 2, as you'll see. We're looking for pilot durations or project durations of anywhere from 6 to 9 months. So what the process looks like is, if you're interested, you would get in touch with me or one of my colleagues at OCI or OVIN. We would have an introductory meeting to find some alignment between your technology and one of the three TPC sites. And then we would fill out a vetting form with some high-level information about your company. We submit that to the site partners you're interested in, and they would come back to us and tell us whether they are able to pilot your technology or not, and then we would move to the more fulsome application phase. So if anyone is interested, I'm sure my contact information will be shared at the, it's shared on this slide, actually. It's a perfect segue to my last slide. If you are interested, my contact information is there. I'll also provide it in the chat. And if you have any questions now, I believe there's a period for Q&A, but thanks again. I don't know if Chris or Kaylee, if you're gonna host the Q&A session or
let's see. I don't know, Kaylee, do we have anything in the chat at all?
So far, no questions have come in. So we
Okay.
can give a moment just in case anyone wants to add any questions to the chat.
And
if
of
there's
course,
any other...
Sorry, go ahead, Kaylee.
Oh, I was just going to say, if there's any other contact information that you wanted to include. So now Corey's email is there, John, your email is there. The Durham RTDS email was shared earlier as well. I can put that in there again as well.
Yep. Maybe just a point or a question to Corey. I see that the next intake is due the 15th of November. That correct this year? And
yeah, so not due. That's when it opens, and that's
I
when
see.
we're
Okay,
taking interest. But the applications are due from those who we receive interest from on January 30th of 2025. So there's sort of a 3-month window there to get those applications in.
Okay, no, that's really super helpful, because I originally looked at that and thought, oh, maybe they're like 30 days, but that's good for everyone to know. So if someone's thinking that I've got something, but I need a little more time, that really should do it. So just a reminder, the next intake opens on basically the 15th of November. So
correct.
And will that show up on the OVIN Hub website, Corey, or?
Yeah, there is a dedicated page for the TPC program.
Mm-hmm.
Let me find the link for that.
I can share that, Corey.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we do have a web page for TPC.
Okay. Excellent. And maybe a question, John. I think if people are looking for more detailed information, the OVIN Hub website will have more on pretty much everything you covered in your presentation, correct?
Yep. OVIN, I'll share the link to the programs page, which will have all the information on the R&D Partnership Fund. I know that due to lack of time, I had to rush through a lot of detail on the R&D Partnership Fund. But if any of you have any questions or are interested in learning more, or have a potential project that could be an R&D Partnership Fund, feel free to reach out to me on my email. I'll be more than happy to do one-on-one and then flesh that details out.
Exactly. And there's a lot of, I was going to say, there's a lot of other valuable information on the OVIN website as well. Sorry, Corey, you were trying to get in there.
Yeah, it looks like we have a question from Eric.
Okay.
I did talk a bunch about like being aligned with the goal for net zero emissions by 2050. That doesn't mean that we're exclusively looking for zero emissions technologies. A PH or a hybrid electric vehicle solution would qualify for these programs, and not just TPC. That could be something that qualifies for other funding programs as well.
Yeah, so just to add to what Corey mentioned, Eric, plug-in hybrid EV solutions, they fall under our EV umbrella. So if there is a solution that is EV related, whether that's hybrid or plug-in hybrids, all of that falls within the opportunity to make it opportunity to electrify it, and that is something that falls within OVIN's mandate to fund.
Yep, exactly. And the different RTDSs, depending on where you are, as John indicated, are funded to provide no-cost services. So sometimes those can be used in those projects as well. So there's a lot of support that's out there, I guess is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, regardless of what TR level you are, whether you're on 0 or 9, we have mechanisms within OVIN to support you at that entire bandwidth, right? So 0 to 3, you have the RTDS, and from 3 to 7, you have the OVIN Early Partnership Fund. 7 to 9, you have the OVIN Demonstration Zone, Technology Pilot Zones that Corey mentioned, and more initiatives that might be coming. So yeah, we have the entire value chain covered for you.
Yep. Good. Kaylee, anything else that is there any questions that showed up?
Nothing further yet. So yeah, maybe we can last chance for questions, and if not, maybe it's time to wrap up. And we've got all the contact information, which is great.
Perfect. Okay. I guess maybe, unless I don't know, Corey and John, maybe I should see if you have any last comments, thoughts, anything you missed off or that should be covered before we end the session today.
I don't think so. Just thanks to Kaylee and you, Chris, for hosting this and giving us the platform to share about our programs and information about our programs. So
yeah, thank you, RTDS. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Kaylee.
Yep, no, certainly our pleasure. And again, I think it showcases a lot of support in Ontario for the building of smart mobility. So again, thanks to you guys at OVIN and the province for all your support and the funding, and we certainly appreciate it. So I guess for today, you have the contact information if you need further information. And again, for both John and Corey, if you look at the OVIN Hub, you'll be able to find their contact info and more there, and certainly the Durham RTDS. It would be Google that, and you'll find information for us locally. So I guess with that, thank you, the audience, for showing up and our question and your participation, and wish everyone a great day. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Thanks,
Bye
guys.
for now.
Bye.